Tensions involving Iran are pushing oil prices higher around the globe, and analysts say when global oil markets react, drivers here in Wisconsin can start feeling it at the pump. Elise Noe joining us in studio with a breakdown. Elise?
Yeah, Chris, when a conflict threatens global oil supplies, markets tend to react quickly, and that reaction can show up fast for some drivers. The latest tensions involving Iran have already pushed oil prices higher, and analysts say those increases translate to higher fuel costs, as you mentioned, which impact drivers here locally. As tensions rise in the Middle East, traders often react immediately out of concern that supply could be disrupted.
Oil prices do not wait to react. Just like if you know it's raining outside, you don't wait until the rain starts. You take the umbrella with you. Oil markets move in the same way.
Economists say when oil prices jump, the effects can ripple through the entire economy, impacting everything from transportation and manufacturing to shipping goods.
The moment the war happened, we saw oil spike. And we got to understand that oil is pretty much the driving force in, economy, because it is a large input to manufacturing and production. And as a result, when those manufacturing and production bills end up going higher, well, guess what? You have these businesses passing on those prices to the end consumer.
And that means consumers can start feeling those increases fairly quickly, including at the gas pump. Here are the latest gas prices in Brown, Outagamie, and Winnebago counties over the past week. There has been an average increase of 30 cents per gallon across northeast Wisconsin. Now, at the same time, refineries are starting the seasonal switch to the more expensive summer blend gasoline, which also tends to push prices higher this time of year. But under most scenarios right now, experts say gas prices here are not expected to rise above $4 a gallon. Chris.